Scientists in England have succeeded in stabilizing the time-honored substance in garlic that destroys harmful bacteria, viruses, molds, yeast, and fungus. This all-natural microbe killer is called Allison C, and it's now available to you in 100% vegetarian capsules only on the New Earth page at Rense.com. This powerful broad-spectrum antimicrobial agent is harmless to friendly bacteria and has been concentrated to equal an astonishing 35 cloves of garlic in each vegetarian capsule. Think about it. The antibacterial, antiviral strength of 35 odorless cloves of garlic in just one capsule. Allison C is so effective it even destroys superbug MRSA in test after test. Allison C is truly an incredible advance in natural medicine, and with the threats of bacterial and viral diseases and pandemics growing, no home should be without it. Learn more and order Allison C on the New Earth page at Rense.com.
Broadcasting worldwide through internet, satellite, AM and FM stations across the nation. Sponsored by SurvivalistSeeds.com, PatriotFood.com, and StriderRide.com. It gets a little rough from here on. This is Don't Tread on Me with Big John Lipscomb and Professor Jeffrey Grubb.
All is good with me, folks. It is, wow, it's north of 60 degrees here in southeast Kansas, and I love that because spring is here, and that's just fine with me. It's time to get out there gardening. It's been a long winter, and hey, Jeff, how are things down your way? Is it pretty warm?
Yeah, it's warm. But now we have to listen to all the global warming people tell us what a disaster we're going into because it's a little bit warm now, and they'll forget that in 2006 on New Year's Day here in West Lafayette, Indiana, 2007 New Year's Day, one of those, I can't remember which one. It was 60 degrees, and they'll also forget, so it's not anything unusual to right now, and they'll also forget that just a couple weeks ago, fruit trees in Florida were freezing. So. Yeah.
This was pretty much the coldest winter everywhere in this country. But people just they have their agenda and they want to spin it. And what makes me look, the New World Order, at least they have a reason. They want power and money out of it. The clones are what disgust me, Jeff. They just go along with it because they're stupid and gullible.
Yeah, the whole thing disgusts me, but I totally agree that it's the people, who are just willingly slaves. All we have to do is just change our mind how we want things to go, just live differently and think differently. But no, they're too comfortable in their TV addiction, and yeah, that's what really makes me sick as well.
Yeah. They sit back and they might recall the stories of in the Bible of somebody selling somebody else out for $30 in silver or something along that line, but yet they are selling their brothers and sisters out and themselves for a lot less than that. I mean, people, as long as you give the average American HD TV now, and 200 channels, he will allow his government to steal everything else he's got.
Yeah, absolutely. I just can't believe that we go this far when the government tells us that they're lying to us, and we have proof that there's a satanic secret government behind the scenes, as I point out in my recent film. And it's not just an opinion. A lot of times people will say that, and then not give the real hardcore evidence, but it's there, as I've pointed out elsewhere. And people will they'll make excuses, say, oh, no. Yeah, I remember the whole Catholic Catholic priest sexual abuse scandal. That hit the news again, I noticed, over the weekend. And, there was stories about the Pope withholding evidence. And I remember when that was going on, was it 2001 or somewhere back in there? And I would just tell people how disgusted. I mean, they can do that. And if I did that, I'm locked up in jail and get probably murdered in prison. But no, they do it, just a little hand slap. And that's telling right there in so many ways. I mean, you have to be completely demented. And really, I don't have enough evidence to say it here from what I've said, but I would say satanic as well to carry out such behavior. I know that it's the satanic sort of mindset which is interested in child sexual abuse. So, I mean, that's just very revealing information, that whole thing. People would just, oh, no, forgive the sinner, not the sin.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Are we all lost our minds? So,
yeah, I think so. I have, I give a similar analogy. Is what if I was hanging out with two known child abusers, right? How long would people tolerate me having them as close friends, right? Not very long, about 15 minutes. Yet they continue to go to these Catholic people continue to go to the Catholic Church with all this going on. It's just insane. And apparently they haven't worked with sexually abused children, and that's one reason why they can't identify with my anger about it. I spent a year right out of college dealing with that, and it's the most horrific life changing for the worse event that a child can go through. It's just something that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, being sexually abused. It's terrible.
I know several people, I'd say about 5 people quite close to me. I know them quite well, and well enough where I've heard some of their, I know some details and the profound effect that's had on them. In some ways, there was a period of time where their life, from what you may have seen similar things or not, there was a period of time where really this person's life was just over in the sense that it was filled with confusion and torture, mental torture, after the torturous event, of course, which is also torture. But, and it's just amazing how this is where religion really gets to its, I talk about religion all the time on my show. What I mean by religion is spiritual ecstasy. I don't mean all this trash. This is where religion has its dark side. And whenever, I don't know, I tend to hold these days, whenever you see religion's dark side, whether it's the Catholic priests that were sexually abusing Native American children on the reservations back when that whole reservation system was getting set up, and how they were in a Nazistic style, separating the children from the parents, and doing all that kind of, kill the Indian from the Indian, all that stuff. Whenever I see the dark side of religion, the Crusades or whatever, there's a whole lot more recent examples than that, I tend to just think that's an Illuminati infiltrated program, because the religions, I'm sorry to say it, but the religions are completely infiltrated all over the place by the Illuminati masters. And if you don't get that, then, well, maybe you disagree, but it's very apparent with what we're talking about here. How else can you have what are supposed to be the most godly people sexually, who have the highest rate of child sexual abuse of really any group I can think of in society? The only way you can make sense of that is these people ain't godly. Okay, so it's very, very clear, but people will still believe it just because they've been told, I guess.
Yeah, and it's that mindset that they adore authority, and that's the authoritarian personality type that gravitates. Actually, it gravitates naturally to politics and Catholicism, because there's this leadership, this hierarchy built in the structure, and authoritarian type personalities just gravitate